Hello, boys and girls. So, yesterday, Miss Bettis forgot to give you your daily math review. So, what we're going to do is that you are going to solve the problems for Monday and for Tuesday, and we are going to review them together. So, let's go ahead and get started. Remember to have your checklist ready, and every time you get something correct, you put a check mark on your checklist, and then when you get it incorrect, you put an X on your checklist. When you get it incorrect, I want you to erase what you have and write the correct steps and the correct answer on your paper. Okay, so it says, we had 8 pumpkin pies, and 9 cherry pies on Thanksgiving. How many pies did we have all together? So we are going to, first of all, as we do all the time, we're going to underline the question. So I'm going to go ahead and underline the question. Then we're going to circle information. Let me make my pen a little bit smaller. That's better. Then we're going to circle information. We're looking for important information that is going to help us solve the problem. We're not just going to circle random things. So think about what is important and what's going to help us solve the question that is asking us, how many pies did we have all together? So it says we had 8 pumpkin pies and that there was 9 cherry pies on Thanksgiving Day. So they want to know how many pies did we have all together. So we already underlined the question and we circled information. Then we find all the boom words. So boom words are words that help us solve the problems. They tell us the operation that we have to do, whether we have to add or subtract or multiply or divide. But we're not going to worry about multiplication and division. We're only worried about addition or subtraction. So we're looking for boom words that help us find out what operation we have to do. How many pies did we have all together? All together is a boom word, boys and girls. That word tells us what we have to do. And when you want to know how many we have all together, we want to see how many there are all together if we combine them. So we are going to have to add. And what is it that we're going to have to add? 8 plus 9. So 8 plus 9 is equal to 17. Okay? Now, something that you can do when you're adding your basic facts, when you're using your fingers, you can always put the bigger number in your head, the largest number, and then just count what is left. So I have 9, and I want you to use your fingers. 9 is in your head, 10, and I'm going to use dots to pretend that those are my fingers. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I have 9 plus the 8 more. I have 9 plus the 8 more, that's equal to 17. Let's go to the next problem. And it says, our team scored 21 points at the football game. 14 of the points were touchdown points. How many points were not from the touchdowns? So again, I'm going to start off by underlining my question. Then I'm going to circle information that is important for me to use to solve the problem. They want to know how many points were not from touchdowns. So I know I have 21 points, and I know that 14 of the points were touchdown. So these points are from touchdowns. So that means that the 21 has points from touchdowns and points that were not from touchdowns. So how am I going to solve how many points were not from touchdowns? We know how many points we have for touchdowns, but we don't know how many were not from touchdowns. And in order to do that, we have to, what do you think? Subtract. And our boom word is not. They want to know what is not touchdowns. They only told us what is touchdowns, but they didn't tell us what is not touchdowns. So I'm going to subtract 21 minus 14. So 21, and I'm going to do it on this little space over here. 21 minus 14. So here goes my ones and my tens. 1 minus 4. I want you to pick up one finger and subtract 4. I have 1 and they want me to subtract 4 ones. Is that possible? No, that is not possible. So what do I have to do? Go next door and get 10 more. So this is a little song that I use is Mr. 10, may I have a 10? Sure, Mr. 1, why not? So I get a 10. And I'm going to put it right here on the side. I'm going to use a green color. And I'm going to put it right there. Actually, that's a blue color, not green. But Mr. 10 loses a 10. So now he's only left with 1 10. So now I have 11 ones minus 4. So 11 minus 4 is 7. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So your answer is 7. Alright, boys and girls, I'm going to go ahead and erase this part right here. So if you haven't written it down, pause the video and write it down right now. Alright. The next one says, decompose the number 326 by drawing place value blocks. So we're going to draw the number 326. I have 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you have not done this on your paper, go ahead and pause the video and draw it right now. Alright, so remember to go back and put check marks on the ones that you got correct and X's on the ones you got wrong on your checklist and correct them if they're wrong. 724. I'm going to cover my 24 and my first number is 7. So I'm going to have 7 and it lives in the hundreds place, so it's 700. And then my next number is 24. So 724. And now I'm going to write the number 724 in expanded form. And what you can do is, oops, that's too thick. Write it, draw a place value chart. My ones, tens, and my hundreds. So my 4 is in the ones place, my 2 is in the tens place, and my 7 is in the hundreds place. So 7 is in the hundreds place, so the value is 700. The 2 is in the tens place, so my value is 20. And my 4 is in the ones place, so my value is 4. If you got any of these correct, put check marks in your checklist. If you got any of them wrong, put X's on your checklist and correct them if they are wrong. We're going to go ahead and move on to Tuesday. What is the distance from 450 to 550? So we are going to be looking at the distance. How far away something is from something. How far away a number is from another number. So we're looking at the numbers 450. My goodness. 450 and at 550. But first we need to look if there's a pattern. There's more than likely a pattern. So from 350 to 400, it jumps by 50. And then from 400 to 450 is another 50. So that means that our jumps are 50. Every time it jumps from one number to the next number, it goes by 50. So it skipped counting by 50. Oops, I'm trying to get my eraser. Wrong tool. So from 450 to 500, it skips 50. From 500 to 550, it counts another 50. So in order to find out what is my distance, I need to add these two numbers. So 50 plus 50 is equal to what? 100. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. And it says, draw a picture using pairings of squares to show if 11 is odd or even. So I'm going to draw squares, 11 squares, and I'm going to demonstrate if it is odd or even. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to pair them up. Here goes a pair, another pair, another pair, another pair, and another pair. I'm left over with 1, so that means that the number 11 is odd. If you got it correct, put a check mark. If you got it incorrect, put an X on your checklist. And if you got it incorrect, please erase what you have and do it again. Mrs. Lyon's class has 17 students. 12 of her students are boys. How many are girls? So we're going to first underline our question. Then we're going to circle information. They told us that they have 17 students and that 12 of the students are boys. But they didn't tell us how many girls are there. So I have 17 minus 12. So here goes my ones, my tens. 7 minus 2. So pick up 7 fingers, boys and girls, and I want to see them. I'm looking at you. 7 minus 2 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. So my answer is 5. And if you got it correct, put a check mark. If you got it incorrect, put an X in your checklist and change the answer to the correct one. Sam had 13 toys and Emma had 28 toys. How many more toys did Emma have than Sam? Remember, this is an HMM problem. So that means that we are going to have to subtract. So let me go ahead and erase that. And it says, how many more toys did Emma have than Sam? We know that Sam had 13 toys. And we know Emma had 28 toys. We already know that Emma has more toys, but how many more toys does she have? So we are going to have to subtract 28 minus 13. My ones, my tens. Pick up 8 fingers and subtract 3. 5. 2 minus 1. Pick up 2 fingers, subtract 1. 1. So your answer is 15. She had 15 more toys than Sam. Alright, boys and girls, hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, if you got something incorrect, write it correctly on your paper. Have a nice day.